Welcome to Raising Independent Thinkers. This show is a space for families who are homeschooling or thinking about homeschooling. We'll explore alternative teaching methods, federal and state homeschooling laws, and most importantly, this show is a platform where families can inspire one another on how to raise independent thinkers. I'm your host, Bathsheba Omane, Montessori educator, homeschooling consultant, owner of Homeschool Guide LLC, and mother of two. Let's get started.
This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it. The information station changing the nation. Stay right there. You're listening to Hindsight.
Good evening, everyone. This is the Raising Independent Thinkers show, and I'm your host, Bathsheba. Akeem, can you hear me well?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Well.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So today we thought we would talk about relationships. Is that right?
Okay.
Yes, relationships.
I don't know
And
if I'll be able to curve my tongue on this subject.
I don't know if I could either. I mean, I want this to be an honest conversation.
Well, that's the thing. But sometimes being honest offends people this day and age.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well,
give it a go.
Yeah, I think it's okay to disagree.
Yeah.
But we just gotta, make sure we're respecting each other. So, but I just wanted to say that I am not a relationship expert.
Me neither.
But
Too
but
much
um
to that.
but
Yes.
one thing about me, I feel like I'm willing to learn, when it comes to the opposite sex. And I'm willing to be honest, of course, and just try to provide my experience and hope to share some solutions or some possible solutions that will help someone.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I was thinking, when we thought about doing this, I was thinking, how does this kind of relate to what I normally talk about, which is raising an independent thinker.
Right.
And I guess I was thinking, well, one thing that we don't really, I think a lot of people don't pay attention to is the social aspect when it comes to children. Like we focus a lot on academics.
Mhm.
And I think relationships is an important part of children's social success. You
Mhm.
know, I think that if we don't learn how to have successful relationships, we're not going to be successful.
Right.
So, and unfortunately, many of us are not doing a good job teaching that to our children at home, and they're not learning it in school how to have successful relationships.
Yeah, that's the school doesn't teach you that.
Yeah. So,
Right. Go ahead. Finish.
well, I mean, you sent me a video today, and
Well, before we go into that video, the clip I played,
mhm,
feminism.
mhm,
Where, see, I think the root of the issue is it's like the divide and conquer issue where the people that are governing things and making these laws and setting up all these systems are strategically putting stuff in place that cause us to look at each other and fight amongst each other about things so that we don't really see what the real issues are. Like prior, years ago, the man left the home. He provided the finances for the home. He took care of everything, and the woman's sole responsibility was basically take care of the home, what things around the house and stuff like that. Now, of course, there was some men that kind of got carried away with that and took advantage of that and treated their women like slaves. Um, but when you look at the social structure of things, taxing before that, only the man went to work. He was the only one that got taxed. Now you have both people going to work and getting taxed. So
mhm,
while we're sitting here going over all of these relationship issues that we have, which are real issues, we're not looking at what caused us to get into this division.
mhm,
Ideas, all of these ideologies. I'm not going to be home and be a stay-at-home wife. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to make my own money. I'm going to be independent. But independent came with a lot of responsibilities. you know,
right, mhm,
where you have to get up every day and okay, you didn't want to listen to you follow and be you want to be independent from your home and your
mhm,
husband, but now you're gonna listen to somebody when you leave that home. When you go to the
right,
job, you gotta listen to the boss now. If you
right,
get there at a certain time, you don't take your breaks when he says take them, you don't
mhm,
do the job, you're out of there. So what happened was you traded one thing for the next. And
mhm,
the thing that was traded for is more money is getting sucked out of the home, and plus
mhm,
less attention is being paid to the children. Because if you got two
right,
parents working,
mhm,
now the school is the teacher for the most part. They're spending most of their day at the school, and they don't see you as the real figure of education for them.
mhm,
That system is just put more giving them more fuel for their structure by sending
right,
the kids there. So
right.
yeah,
I agree with
and I
that.
think that's where our problem is. The problem is not so much our relationships with each other are divided. Those
Mm,
are problems, but those are more symptoms of a greater system that is in place to keep us arguing amongst each other.
mm,
Because
yeah,
if we didn't have all of these things where I got to go to work and they, and the minimum wage wasn't so low where people had to fight to survive, one person won't have to go to work. But, average families today, for the most part, need 2 incomes to survive.
Yes. Yeah. So I was going to ask you, like, how do you think we can get back to that way, because of how it is now, where, like you said, 2 people need to work in most households. So, and
that's 2 people have to work under the current way we're teaching people. See, when you go to school, they say, get a good education so you can get a good job. You got to get an education so someone will hire you and give you good money. They're not teaching you how to start your own businesses. Because I've literally seen stay-at-home moms. They're not just stay-at-home moms. They got businesses at home. While they're stay-at-home moms, they're running businesses. Like, I know of a school teacher. Which state was that in? Washington. She was a school teacher. She left that, and she writes for people. Like, she does writings and prepare documents for people. That's her business, right? And then there's people who they go to what do you call those things? Garage sales and find things and put those up on OfferUp and sell them. So they get people's junk and make money off of that. So while the husband may be at work working, they're finding creative ways to make money so that they don't have to go out there to work. And there's ways. Now with the internet and the way things are, it really is. You really don't have to go out to work for anybody anymore. People are making money just critiquing toys, or gadgets. Hey, the iPhone reveal, box opening. They're showing themselves opening up a box and, hey, this is what it looks like. And people are watching those videos and they're getting paid for that. Like Amazon has a thing where you have an affiliate link where you could put products on your page, and whoever clicks that and buy that product, you get a certain percentage of that. And all they do is make videos about top 10 routers. So they'll do top 10 routers that they believe is the top 10, and then whoever clicked that link, that's an affiliate link that they're getting paid for someone buying that router. See what I'm saying? So
there's ways to make money from working from home. Sure.
Right. We take the stress out of trying to support a family, then families get back to working with each other.
Right. Right. So I think like back in the days, and tell me if I'm wrong, men were considered the primary providers, right, of their family, the primary providers. So they provided most of the finances to cover the bills and things. And women took on the role as the nurturer and the one that takes care of their home and the children. And I think that if you ask most women, I mean, I could only speak for myself, I guess, but I think also if you ask most women if they would prefer to stay at home and take care of their home and be with their children, I think most women would want that.
I agree that most women want that. They want traditional when it benefits them, but then they want untraditional. They don't want the other things that go with that. They just want that comfort of, there's a lot of them that want that, but then at the same time, they want these modern ideals that they're coming up with. They're just independence. I'm going to do, all this running around. If you're married to someone, there's independence, but there's really no independence there. You guys are working as one. You're not working independently of each other. You're working dependently with each other as a co-op. And that's where people are getting the signals all mixed up. It's a co-op.
Right.
It's
But
not-
like I said, like
it's a co-op.
with children, a lot of children are not learning that. Like they're learning mostly, especially young girls are learning how to be independent. They're not learning how to work with their mate or work with, their a man.
It's the long and short of it. A lot of them are not prepared to be wives in the sense of they don't know what it takes to be a wife. And honestly, as a man, men don't know what it takes to be a husband a lot of times. But most of the times, yes. No one sat me down, well, this is what you do and what you don't do. Most thing I do is offer what I saw my parents doing. That doesn't mean it was right. And that doesn't mean what they was doing is going to work for the relationship with a woman I'm going to marry. You see? So no one really gave us the process. What they said was, oh, find someone you love and this and that. But when you get old enough, love is a great thing. But at the same time, there's some other things that go with that. Tolerance, patience, long suffering, and finances. You need money. A lot of people getting into relationships and don't have the money to sustain a family. Like now that I'm at my age, I don't think a man should be starting a family and having children unless he has the finances to be able to take care of that family with one income.
Yeah, I agree.
Unless he's not to say that his wife cannot work, but it should be if one person cannot work because people get sick, that your income is going to take care of everything. Men should be taught to be financially stable before they go starting a family.
I agree. And I think for a woman, I don't think a woman should become anyone's wife if they are not willing to cooperate. And mainly cooperate.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that we got going on. There's people they want I want to stay at home, but they're the tension. But the cooperation is a big thing in a relationship. There's no such thing as I'm gonna just do my own thing, you do you and you do me, and that's what a lot of that is going on. And I did shows out there that highlight one gender as the problem over the other. Like right now, the sisters are taking a big hit all over the internet, YouTube, about attitudes and why they have a high rate of singleness. And that may be true, but it's not solving the problem because there's something that's causing that. Now, one of the things that keeps a problem going is not taking responsibility for your role in that situation. Why are you can't find a suitable husband at this point? Why? You want it, but you're not getting it. So that becomes self-evaluation. Now, me as a man, I can't tell a woman what she be doing. She should be doing because I'm a man. I don't know. I'm not a woman expert. I think that's one of those things men will never get is to totally understand the behavior or the mindset of a woman. What you can do is understand one thing, that minds change, and how she feel one day may not be how she feel the next day. Like I started off with 3 boys. That's my 3 boys. They're all older. We go out to a restaurant. Everybody gets a menu. Everybody pretty much knows what they want. Boom, I want boom, boom, boom. Get through it. Hand that same menu to my daughter. She'll sit there and ponder that menu for 5-10 minutes before she makes a decision. That's with everything, going to the amusement park, and that's just the behavior of a woman. And a man just has to understand it takes time for a woman to make up her mind. That's us. Okay, I want a hamburger. We already know, take it and run with it.
But you know, it's funny that you say that because with me, like I can't speak for every single woman, but with me, I would prefer when it comes to little things like that, you just make a decision.
Mhm.
As a man, you make a decision and I'll tell you if I like that or not.
Okay.
Most of the time I'm going to like it. You know,
Right.
if
What do
you
you
want
mean,
to
like ordering food or something?
just I was just thinking of little things like, oh, you know, what restaurant you want to eat at or what do you want to eat
Oh,
or
okay. Man,
whatever.
make the
You
decision.
know, what are we having for dinner tonight? Whatever it is. You make that decision and I'll tell you if that's that's good
Now,
or
am I
not for
making
me.
a decision and I'm cooking it at the same time? What is that?
What?
If you say me make the decision for the dinner,
Like if you're asking if a man is asking where do you want to go eat?
right?
I would prefer you make that decision
Okay, I got you now.
and I'll just tell you if I want it. Most of the time I'm pretty easygoing. I'm going to be fine with whatever you
Mm-hmm.
choose, but
So I want to go get alligator, possum, rabbit. I want to have that tomorrow night. You gonna eat that?
I mean, I might not. I'm not going to eat it. You
Just
can eat whatever you want to eat.
okay.
I'm sure if we go to a restaurant that sells those things, I'm sure they have something that I'll like. So,
That's all they got. Exotic foods.
oh, okay.
Yes.
Then
Uh,
no, I don't want to go
you
there.
like the smells. Remember the smells at that restaurant?
But I'm just saying, like, I think for me, I would prefer a man to make
To take the lead on where they're gonna.
exactly take the lead on certain things. Like,
Okay,
you know,
that's
those
fair.
things don't bother me. But you were saying something about roles.
Right.
And it's interesting
That's
because the roles have reversed, you know,
yeah,
and
they have.
I don't know if it'll ever go back to
Well,
in a traditional
crazy one.
sense.
I don't think we'll ever get back to what it was in the 50s. You know, those things. No, that's not going to happen. And I think
Mhm,
at this point, most men, I know me, I don't want that 50s deal.
mhm,
You know, with the age of technology and where I want to go, I want a woman that has some drive for making some money
mhm,
and helping me do that. You know,
mhm,
that's um it always bothered me to see a woman just sit in the background and just went with whatever, you
mhm,
know. Well, come have some ideas because I might be overlooking something, you know.
mhm,
Um, so that business-minded woman that's business-minded to the business we have as a family, not business-minded creating somebody else's wealth at some job. That's
okay.
just a business-minded far as
Yeah. And I
but
think that's where a lot of women, well, some women get confused
mhm,
because a lot of times men will say that what you just said. I want a
mhm,
woman who's business minded, who's, thinking about making money, who's,
mhm.
has goals. And then I think some women take that and they take it all the way. Like, they get all these degrees.
See,
They,
that's the problem right there. That's the problem. See, they get the degrees to make somebody else's business. See, the key is they don't know. Well, the man better be very clear about what he talking about business minded. Like when I say
yeah.
business minded, I mean business minded and helping us build wealth for our
Mm-hmm,
family, not
mm-hmm,
going to someone's job. Now,
mm-hmm,
that's funny you said it because I've been in situations like that where I said I wanted a person that was business minded,
mm-hmm,
and in their mind, they thought it was, I'm gonna go get a license to sell real estate,
mm-hmm.
or go work for this firm and this.
Mhm. And then
That
they'll probably say, "Well, I thought you said you want
yeah,
someone that's business minded." So you do need to be
very
specific.
specific. Listen, not
Yes.
for being a slave for a company and making them money. I'm talking about making us money here.
Mhm.
I noticed not everybody's cut out for that, or I think everybody is cut out for that, but mentally, a lot of people are not ready to take that leap to totally work for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just a little off, well, off the subject. I've told people you got to jump off the bridge when it comes to, setting up your own business. You got to take that leap of faith. That's the term that they use, because it always works out and it always better than if you kept the job.
Mm-hmm.
So someone just recently shared their story. They just quit. They just decided to quit their job, go into business for themselves, and they're making more money now than they were making when they were working. You see?
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't wait for the business to make a lot of money to quit. They just quit, boom, and just went for it. And then by that, it turned on a switch. Well, I gotta do what I hear. I can't just. So that changed their whole mental, and I think a lot of people struggle with that. That part.
Right. I was just smiling because I'm while I'm listening to you too, I was reading some of the comments. So maybe we could say hi to some of the people.
Karen Israel, happy Sunday. Curtis
Hi,
Williams.
Karen. Hi, Curtis.
Yeah, I met Karen in Illinois. That's her, and I know her fiance, Steven.
Okay.
Great couple.
Amexis
Moore. He's from Louisiana. Louisiana do have that in the kitchen. I keep all over the menu. I know. He was talking about alligator and stuff like that. I know. Frogs. I tried alligator. I've tried the frog legs yet.
I've never had alligator or frog legs.
Actually, alligator doesn't taste bad. It tastes on the line of chicken, not quite chicken. I wouldn't say go as far as say exactly Champaign, Illinois, right, Karen? But it was good. Listen, I haven't been to a restaurant in Louisiana that wasn't good. Like, that's the one place you could go, and every restaurant got good food. Now, to a Louisianian, they probably say, no, that's not true. Ain't nothing better than my kitchen, because they like to cook out. Yeah. So, he said, Maxim says he's starting a consulting firm to manage assets and stuff like that, protect assets. Good idea. So back to what we was talking about. What happened? I think we lost Beth for a second. Went out. She hit something. We make sure we get her back in. We lost her. The feminists might have cut her off. I said, no, you playing for the other team. Oh, there she go. All right, hang on. Let me get her back. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I clicked something and everything disappeared on me.
I thought the feminist got you. You said you playing for the team. Yeah.
Yes.
What do you think could help this situation?
Say it again.
What do you think can help this situation? This divide that we have in our community.
Divide, because I was going to say I think there's a lot of different situations, but the divide, I think, just understanding the role that we both have. Because like I said, I think a lot of the roles have reversed.
Right.
So understanding the role of the woman and the wife, I think will help.
Depending on what culture you come from, that role will be different.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I think what helps with that is teaching our kids at home, because the children are learning this by whatever they see. We learn from who we see.
Right.
And you always talk about, how many single mothers there are. And you always talk about how it's the single mothers that's raising a lot of these kids.
Yeah. Well, you go to the
So,
hood, it's nothing but single moms. And
mhm,
the hood tend to be the bad neighborhoods. And
mhm,
where are the children getting these bad behaviors from? They're not.
mhm,
See, what it is it could be just lack of discipline or lack of consistency of discipline.
mhm,
Whereas the children are being raised by television and their surrounding friends or association.
mhm.
And there's no balance of a male figure in the house to kind of balance behaviors out. Because I don't believe women were designed to be raising a family by themselves.
Absolutely. I agree.
And I don't believe men are designed to raise a family by themselves.
I agree. I
Mother and a
agree.
father to have a child, and it takes two parents to raise them. And not
Yeah.
only does it take two family, it takes two parents plus grandmothers, grandfathers, uncles, aunts, those types of, the extended family
Mhm.
is a part of raising children as well. And what we
Absolutely.
have today, we don't have that. That foundation is eroded.
Mm.
Families are not getting along. Only time families are getting together now is when somebody die.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And yeah, people tend to move away from each other and live far away. But
Mhm,
I think, like you said, learning how to work together
mhm.
and learning our roles. And I think by especially learning our roles, there won't be as many single families or
Right.
single women, you know?
One
Um,
things men are supposed to provide is protection for his family. Somebody's just breaking in the house is you want your woman to go, because if you're a single mom, then you're you're doing all of those roles.
mhm,
Protector, provider, you're doing all of that, right?
mhm,
Now, somebody come breaking in your house, or maybe there's just something going on that's strange around your house. What do you do as a woman? And that's the time you want a male presence. Now you're going to call a male if you're going to pick up the phone and call the police, but he takes time.
mhm,
But it's always good to have him handy right there.
mhm.
That's if he's an alpha male. He's not afraid of
It's not gonna run away.
shadow. Right. Oh,
Yeah. So Karen says trust, respect, support each other, listening to each other. I
mhm.
agree. I agree with all of those things.
Yeah. So what do you think about all of these videos they're making about women in particular?
Which videos?
Well, I
Which
know
ones?
hot guy is Kevin Samuels right now. He's like
Mhm,
the guy, the videos that people are watching now. This guy's got close to 1 million
mhm.
active subscribers.
So I've watched a few of his videos, and we've talked about it before, and I think the first few times I watched him, I I did not like his tone. I'm just gonna be honest. I
Mhm,
didn't like his tone and how he was approaching. I felt like he wasn't coming up with the solutions, but he was just kind of complaining. But
mhm,
then, as I started to listen to a few more, I do agree with a lot of things he's saying
mhm.
about, women in particular. I do agree with a lot of the things.
Like what? For like what?
I'm trying to remember the last show I
Well,
watched.
his
Hmm.
content is mainly about women want high value men. They
Mhm.
want additional high value, stay at home. They want the guy to make money, but what they're bringing to the table to the high value guy. And when we talk about
Mhm.
high value, we're talking about a guy making six figures or more. Of that.
Mhm.
That's his definition of a high value. That's
Mhm.
not necessarily mine, but that's his
Yeah.
definition.
Yeah. I
So
think like what he said that I agree with is at one time he was just talking about how women need to be more realistic.
Right.
And I actually agree with that. Like,
Right.
if you want a high valued man, then you need to be a high valued woman.
Right.
And what does that mean? What does it mean to be a high valued woman?
Right. Well, some of them just say it's in me. I'm a prize. I'm the prize because they're a woman. That's what they say. A lot of them, actually, most of them say that. He gets me. I'm this prize. He's someone you're getting to. He's not a prize. But and that's not going to cut it. Just you. What is about you? What do you have to offer? And I think one of the things he says is, yeah, okay, you want this, okay, then what do you have to offer? And a lot of times what I noticed, a lot of the women that he interviewed, they wanted to give a man something that men don't want. Like, men don't care about women's money. Like alphas, like a high value guy, he's not thinking about your money because he can't spend that.
But he is, but like you said earlier, you want a woman who is about her money, or who's about making money with the family,
helping promote to support the business of the family. When you see these cultures from other countries, let's just use Asians, for instance. When you go into their restaurant, the whole family is working in that restaurant, from the children on up. See?
Yeah.
So her life and their life is all surrounded around their business. That's what I mean. Where the whole family is working together to create financial stability for the family.
Right.
In our business, how many, let me ask you, how many Asian restaurants do you see Black people working in there?
None.
Right. Okay.
None.
And then there's a lot of other businesses do the same thing. Even white businesses, for the most part, the smaller business only hire their family or their people that look like them. Now, some people would get upset with that. I'm not upset with that. Why? Because that's their business and they have a right to hire whoever they want to hire.
Right.
And if I have a business, so why get upset with them about that? Go create your business and hire your own.
Right. Right.
Stop complaining about what they're doing and hire your own.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, when you look at that group, and they're the best example that I could think of, that where the whole family is working, or people from their community is working in their business 100%. You see?
Now, what do you think about Kevin Samuels?
I think he's on point with pointing out some things. Hey, listen, you want this, but you're gonna have to be realistic. Okay, you want a high value guy, but you're gonna bring him someone else's kids, right? And you think that because he says that lessens your value, you have children by someone else, or a guy who's high value, who's making that he wants his own children. I think a lot of his points are good, but they also can agitate. It's like putting a battery in the back and causing more complaining. Meaning, instead of solving the problem, it's causing more contention. Because guys are watching this, yeah, you're right, and then they're going home and shit. Look at this video. Look what he's saying.
Yeah.
And you see what I'm saying?
I don't think he can really solve women's problems.
No,
I think
can't.
women have to solve their own problems.
Well, and he said that.
Yeah, but he can give some solutions, that we can follow. And I think he does it, but I don't know. It still sounds a little complainy to me.
What he does is he makes them see, because I watched a few of them. Well, what you wanted, you already had, and you walked away from it. And he said, well, if you want, you should have worked with the guy you had so y'all could build to that. Everybody just wants to jump into instant success, not work and build to have a guy and build towards that. They want the guy to already have that before they get into it. So I think he just mainly focused on self accountability. Be accountable for where you are. That's it. And so, but I think when I see people critiquing his videos, they're always pointing out, it's like a pointing of a finger type thing. No one is saying, okay, what's next? And like you said, I think women can only solve women's problems. They got to check each other. They have to talk to each other. Hey, we have to do better. And men have to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree. Now, the video that you sent me, what did you, this video Akeem sent me earlier today.
Where, the woman had wrote a book on, if I can remember, like they were rating their relationships. Would you settle for 8 out of 10 things in a relationship? The men overall said, yeah, I'll take 8. If I can get 8 out of the 10 things I want, I'll take that. Whereas the women, for the most part, turned it down. That they want, no, that's not good enough if they don't get all of the points that they want. And I think the video was basically like what you said. A lot of them are not being realistic.
Right. Yeah.
Because you're not going to get, if you have 10 things that you want, you are fortunate if you get half of it. Why?
I think, like, I was listening to it though, and I think for many women, women tend to be very detailed oriented.
When it comes to what they want, far as relationships and stuff.
So we're very detailed. So
no, let's be specific. In certain areas, they're detailed, like that. When it comes to relationships, because in other areas, I see there may not be so much detail going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And like she was saying, women do. I do agree that women, do tend to be picky. Some women do tend to be picky at certain things. And when it comes to relationships and dating, men, she was saying how men only want a few things, whereas women might want like 100 things. Right. So for me, I mean, what I find most important, and I heard them talk about it, is character and values.
Right.
I
think that's important.
Yeah, character and values. I mean,
character. No, okay. What kind of character? You got characters out there. What kind of character? You gotta be specific when you say character. You might get a Power Ranger. Who knows?
Yeah.
Character. You got to be specific about.
That's true.
Yeah, men are very simple. We want basic things. We don't want a whole lot. And when we say something, we don't have anything else going on behind what we say. And I think sometimes we try to take what we say and expand it into all of these other ulterior. No, I think that sometimes women place their mindsets onto men. How they think men's supposed to think like that, and we don't. We're very basic. It don't take much to please us. That's it. And too many times, like we have this issue sometimes, and that is watching movies. I like the action, science fiction. That's my thing. Like the love stories and
that is your thing.
The tearjerker stuff, right? And I can watch. I mean, literally, I can only watch those things once. Once every blue moon. I cannot. It's just I just cannot sit through those movies consistently, and I won't lie and say I'm gonna do it because I won't.
And you know what? It's funny because I feel the same exact way.
Right.
And I think, I mean, when it comes to like shows and things like that, not like they were saying, not everyone is gonna be I'm not going to agree with everything you do, or I'm not going to want to watch every single show you're going to want to watch. But
I think
as
it's
long as you're not upset when I don't watch what you want to
right.
watch, and I'm not upset when you don't want to
Well,
watch what I
personally,
want to
I'm kind
watch.
of okay with watching it by myself because I want to watch it all the way through and not have to explain the movie. So I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, I'll remember that.
I'm okay. Now, I'm okay. Now, there's some, chick flick movies that I will watch. Like I watched Sylvie's Love last night, and it was a pretty good movie. The reason why I liked it because it was about a guy who played the saxophone, and I'm trying to learn how to play a guitar. So I'm into music right now. So, and it was really music surrounded by around music and jazz music that I like. So I liked the movie. The story was pretty good. I think everybody should watch it. It was a pretty good movie.
Well, I'm sorry I missed that one with you. I didn't watch it with
Yeah,
you.
you didn't want to watch that. The one time you had me watching a chick, I was ready to watch one. You wasn't there. You didn't want to watch it, or you didn't watch it. Not that you didn't want to. And one of the things in that video, the guys were saying, like one of them was talking about his wife, how they like different things. They're like totally different,
Right?
but they're perfect for each other. And I think that's okay because this whole thing, we have to have all these matching values is overrated because now you just, I think that's kind of boring. I think it's interesting to be with someone who has different take on things or different likes because it exposes you to stuff you never really thought about,
Right.
Like, you like poetry and I like poetry, but I never thought about going to watch it. So you say, "Oh, let's go watch." Like you exposed me to cooking classes, which was really cool. Going to a cooking class. So, and that's what differences do. Even though you're not into that, just allowing someone to have those different values exposes you to something different. Oh, that's not so bad. Now that I did it. Learning techniques on cooking. Before that, I was not interested in anything cooking. I wasn't a cooker. I'd rather buy food out.
Right. Yeah, I think it's important to know that we don't always have to agree with everything, but I think when you're meeting someone for the first time, I think it's important to at least try to find something in common. And I think that's what like one of the guys was talking about or the woman was saying how a lot of times women will just write someone off if they're like short or something or if they're like if they're telling jokes, they're telling corny jokes
with a brown belt and
I mean like
because of that, like,
and most guys are nervous, especially if they really like the girl, so they might tell a corny joke or two,
right.
or might say something ridiculous.
I think a lot of guys get cut off, and that could be the guy. That could be the one,
right?
Because I know couples that have been together for a long time, and the woman said, "I didn't like him at first, but she gave it a shot again, and then it opened up."
Right. Yeah. So like
you always have that instant connection, you got to work for it. Good things you got to work for.
Yeah. Like with you, I noticed one thing I really like about you is that you love to travel.
Oh, yeah.
And I love to travel. So that's something that we both have in common, But I think finding things in common is something important.
Yeah.
And I see Karen says, find solutions, not problems.
Right. Yeah. She said that. Yep. Find solutions, not problems. Everybody's got problems they want to talk about. Solutions. And I think that those shows are okay. It's highlighting a issue that needs to be resolved, but it's also can be dangerous.
Right.
Because it causes more infighting.
Right.
Because some people are just not ready to hear the truth. They're not ready. But a lot of people are watching that. They're into the drama. They're into that.
Yeah,
See,
some people do like drama. I'm not one of them.
see that where they can point the finger at someone. Oh,
Right.
this is it. This is why everybody's got a problem. And
Mhm.
I watch it and I get caught up in it sometimes with that.
Mhm.
That's why I have to. I try to, when I see it, I kind of, no, I'm not gonna watch it because all it's gonna do is get a battery going. Get me
Oh, you're
charged.
talking about like videos
Watching
and
those videos, it charge
yeah.
you up. Yeah,
Yeah.
If it's not having a positive effect on you, you need to be careful with it.
Yeah. All right. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about, or did you want to
No,
see if anyone wanted to
I don't know.
call in or?
Nobody called in. The numbers there. No one called in. They got in. I don't think people want to touch these topics like that. They people be like, "Oh, you said this and you said that." That's another thing. We should be able to tell how we feel about something.
Yeah, and we all have, we all have different experiences, and
Right.
we can all learn from each other, I think.
My
So,
solution is not the end all be all. It's just ideas.
right.
I
Yeah.
know that the source of our problems come from the systemic system that we live in that's created us to be divided.
Mhm.
This system does not promote family. It's not for family, where people have to work outside of the home to take care of their family. Years ago, people they worked in the home.
Mhm.
People were farmers. They worked on their own farm. And then the kids got, well, I don't want to work on a farm. I want to go work for these people instead of working for the family farm. And then the family farm went under because the kids didn't carry on the tradition.
Mhm.
See, we traded technology for family. We traded
Right.
prestige and what the society said was prestige. You know what? I was listening to a show today about Harvard University.
Mhm.
Right? That's a prestigious school, right? You would think
Mhm.
whoever goes to that school, they're going to get out and they're going to make lots of money. But someone who went to Harvard, Dr. Daniel, Jennifer Daniel, she on her show, she said, Harvard tells you that just because you go to this school, if you come in here poor, this school is not going to make you rich. They tell the students that. So
Mhm.
followed students over a period of time, over some years.
Mhm.
Students that went to Harvard,
Mhm.
students that went to just regular schools on different income levels. And guess what? Their lifestyle, their life didn't change one bit for the most part. Meaning,
That's
just
interesting.
Harvard didn't create more money for them, create
Mhm.
income for them.
Mhm.
So they could have just as well went to a community school,
Mm.
had the same results. So
Right.
what
Right.
does that say about the educational system?
Mhm.
It's the system itself is broken. It's not teaching people how to be successful.
Mhm.
So
Well, it's not, and it's not it's not. It's mainly not teaching people how to have successful relationships,
right.
because that's where many opportunities come, is when you build those successful relationships.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Um, you had said something. I was thinking about how how a lot of people have decided to like go towards welfare instead of their family too.
Right. They took the handouts, and then
Mm-hmm.
in order to take the handouts, the man couldn't be around. Mm-hmm. That was a big problem in our community right there.
And it still is.
Yes, it still is.
It
Yes.
still is.
Yes.
I
It's
know someone right now who's, has handouts, and they would rather continue having handouts instead of getting married.
right. And so they're having children just to put them on the system. And the system obliges and give them crumbs, because that's all it is crumbs. I mean, when you put yourself in that system, that's just you're putting yourself in a box, in a prison of poverty. So because you have to fight to keep those benefits. So they make you go through it. You got to fill this out. You got to prove that you're not making any money all the time. And you always have to strategize on ways to keep yourself looking broke so you can get this money. That's the mentality. You see? All right. And that mentality is not going to, that's just passing on generational poverty.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
All righty. That's all I had. I didn't have a whole lot to say on that. I don't want to go too deep because,
Okay. Well, I mean, we've been talking for about an hour.
Right.
And I thought it was a good conversation. And, hopefully we'll be able to talk more about relationships, maybe like once a month or once a week or
some people join in and share their experiences. Maybe get some couples that have been married for years to come on and tell us how
I would love to hear from them.
Yeah.
I would love to hear that.
Somebody need to do a show. Yeah, have a channel for that. Just people coming on and saying, hey, we've been married this many 25 plus years and this is how we did it. Instead of hearing all this how these relationships are not working. Let's hear some relationships. I think if people hear more things about how they are working, people will be more encouraged to keep their relationships together.
Right. Well, I do have to say that it was nice of you to go kayaking with me.
Oh, this morning? Yeah.
Because I know that that's something, that's something I wanted to do. I've been wanting to do. Yeah. And it was very peaceful and relaxing. And I felt like you really thought about that. So I appreciate that.
Talking about that kayaking for weeks. Maxim said he's been with his woman for 20 years now.
Oh, wow.
Great. That's an accomplishment.
That's nice.
Congratulations.
That is so nice. 20 years. That's 2 decades.
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome. All right, Akeem.
All right. I'm going to call it a night. Got other things I must do.
All right. Well, I hope you all have a blessed week. And I hope that you listen to some of our other shows. Of course, Akeem's shows on Tuesday, Truth Tuesday show at 7 p.m. And we have Tasia and Jessica's show, Divine Connection, every Thursday at 7 p.m. And am I missing anyone, Akeem? Solomon Temple show on Wednesdays.
Wednesday, yes.
At 10 a.m. And that's it, right?
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Everybody like and subscribe. Help the channel out. Trying to make it better. That was being said. That's it. Take us out.
Okay. All right. Have a great week, everyone. Be blessed.
Yeah.